Hi friends, welcome back or welcome if it is your first time here. Today I've got another really exciting video. We're going to try some new makeup. There is a new brand at SUPERDRUG. It is this Studio London brand. And I went into SUPERDRUG the other day and saw a bunch of stuff. So we're going to try pretty much a full face. They didn't have everything for a full face. And we also have a new Christmas palette from Profusion. So if you know, I had one of these palettes, it was either last year or the year before, and it has been like my favorite palette for a while. Like I've been using it every day. So when I saw this one, I wanted to grab it and try it out, and also it looks like it has some really pretty shades in here. So that's what we're doing today. Let's get on to it. Okay, so we have a somewhat different background again today. I'm sorry everything's moving all the time, but this is where I think my setup will officially be, and we're just going to get a new guinea pig cage. We've actually ordered one and it's coming early in the new year. So yeah, things are looking up, but everything's changing constantly around here. We finally have the Christmas decorations up now. I'll probably like show you how some of that looks because I think it looks pretty nice. I'm just getting out all of my goodies from my SUPERDRUG bag. I actually really quite like the packaging of some of this stuff. Okay, so we're starting off with the concealer to prime our eyelids. I already have my eyebrows slicked up. So this is the Studio London Flaunt Flawless Cream Concealer. So I really like the packaging of this. I feel like it's kind of cute and different. And this was £5 and I got it in the shade number 11. And this is cruelty free and vegan. So they didn't seem to have, like, they had like enough shades, but they didn't seem to have that many like light options. So I think I went for like the lightest or the second to lightest. Has just like a regular doe foot. Let's put this on. I'll zoom you in even more. So that, like, that's gonna work okay for me, I think. Also, this feels really creamy, but it's not like super light. And like I mentioned, I do think this was like either the lightest or the second lightest one. Just blend it out. It's been ages since I've done my makeup like this. Actually, at the minute, I've been doing my makeup like how I showed in that everyday makeup video. I did it 2 or 3 videos back, and that's how I've been doing. So I've been doing my foundation first, like every day. So it's actually been ages since I started with my eyebrows. This concealer, it feels really thick actually, and like a little bit sticky. Yeah, quite a bit sticky. I feel like that covered pretty well. It's normally quite hard to tell on the eyelids. That is really sticky though. That might be a really good base, but it's hard to tell on the eyelids. But I'm not like putting it on the eyelids really to test it out. It's more just because I like to prime like this. So for eyes, we actually have a few different things. Like I mentioned, we have the palette from Profusion, but I also picked this up, which we will try to use today. So this is the Studio London, this is the Colour Icon eyeshadow pigment. It's meant to be long wear and crease free. So I got this beautiful like green shade. This is in the shade Emerald Mermaid. So I grabbed that. They didn't really have, I think they had maybe a couple eyeshadow palettes, but they didn't really like pique my interest. And then I also grabbed this liner, which is in like a really pretty sort of like goldish bronze shade. This is the Define the Lines Precision eyeliner, and this is in the shade Extra Bronze. So I think I will try and use these today. If not, we'll use them in another video. But this is what I mainly want to try today. So it has all of the names on, it has the names on the outside here. So this is what it looks like, but I'm just going to take this sheet off. I never keep these either, like it doesn't really matter to me what the names are. But that is what that looks like. It looks genuinely stunning. Like these glitters look divine. I'm so excited. So I'm going to take a sort of firm domed blender brush. This is the Blurred Lines brush from Beauty Bay. Oh my god, that was such a tongue twister. And I'm just going to start off with this shade down here. Again, it doesn't have a name, but I'm just going to use it as a transition. And I tend to find that Profusion shadows are very beginner friendly, not super pigmented, but that works well on like a everyday basis kind of thing, where you don't want like super pigment. It's normally, I normally use them if I want like a very soft blurred kind of look. But also I will say that Profusion do amazing glitters, like proper full pigment glitters, so I am very excited about those glitters. Also, I should say I have no idea what kind of look I'm going to do today, but we'll just roll with it. I definitely want to do something more sort of like creative, because I feel like I've been doing super minimal everyday makeup for a while now, and I do want to do something a bit more fun. Also, do you like my little Christmas earrings? Cam got me them. He got me them as a well done for passing my theory test, which I finally passed. I took my theory test like years ago, like when I first turned like 17, and I couldn't pass it. I tried doing it like 2 times and I kept failing, and then I decided again this year. I was like, okay, I want to drive, so I started revising for my theory test probably like a month ago, and I passed it, and I'm very proud.
Very proud.
And now we're gonna go on and do driving lessons again. I haven't done driving lessons again since I was like 17. But yeah, Cam got me these as like a little well done, and I really like them. They're actually from Claire's. It's like loads of cute stuff that he got me. So you're probably going to be seeing like lots of different earrings in new videos, because he got me some different earring options. But yeah, kind of like how I thought this would be. It just sort of, like, it blended out. It's very sort of like soft. You don't really have to be careful with it. It's not like too much pigment, and considering that this shade does look like it does have some nice sort of depth to it, you would sort of expect a bit more, but like it's fine. I feel like we're really gonna see what these are like now when we try to build them, because that's normally when things don't go super well. But I'm gonna try and take a little bit of this sort of like reddish brown. It's definitely more red, but yeah. And I'm gonna take that on this sort of like flat domed brush here. I'm trying to use like different brushes as well. When I organised my desk, I found that I had like a bunch of brushes, and I just really want to start using different brushes than just like the ones I use every day, because like I have a lot of them, but because like I have my regular ones that I used to keep in like a little pot, I'd never use anything else. But now I've just sort of like put all of my brushes together, so now I'm just picking from all of my brushes instead of just having some that I love. I want to take this same brush and go into this like deep green here. It looks super pigmented on the brush, and I'm just going to try and build that up again a bit more. Yeah, they're pretty much just as I expected, which is that they're very beginner friendly. So the shades are like super blendable. They're super like pale is kind of the word I want to use. Like they really don't have a lot of pigment or opacity to them. Like they're very easy to sort of like blend. But the trade-off is that you get sort of shades that aren't super pigmented, so it's kind of hard to build up like nice deep rich shades because the pigment just sort of goes away. I'm going to try and deepen this even more if I can. I'm going to take, this is like my little trusty brush here. This is the Faux Shade brush from Beauty. I use this pretty much like every day. And this is really small but flat and a little bit fluffy. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to go into the same green shade and just try and really pack it on this inner and outer corner. So now I think I'm going to use the Studio London little thing as a base, and then we'll go over the top with possibly like a glitter. But I will swatch some shades from this Profusion palette as well, because some of the shimmers in particular look stunning. Oh, and this, by the way, was £5 as well. So this Studio London range is very affordable. I'm going to squirt some out onto the back of my hand, I suppose. Whoa, that looks pretty. So I'm going to try a brush with it. And I'm going to try, I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit more so we can really see this. That looks stunning. So let's try and put this. Oh, in the center. That looks so pretty. I just did green in like my last video that I did. It's pretty, but it's not like very like shimmery or like glittery or like wow kind of. Like on my hand it looks insane, but see, I want to like blend out the edges, but every time I touch it it's like leaving a patch. Yeah, it's really not very easy to work with. This was probably one of those where it's easier to just like put it everywhere and then not touch it, because like it's literally leaving patches everywhere. And also it's kind of stinging my eye a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so it is pretty, but like it's making my eye stink, so I'm gonna take this off. But this is what it looks like. It did patch a lot, like it was not very easy to use. So even though it is £5, I'd probably skip out on it because I'm probably not going to be able to use this again. But okay, so I removed that and I primed my eyes using my normal concealer. And as you can see, it has sort of like left quite a lot of greenness around, which I'm hoping my concealer can sort of cover a bit later on, because it's really hard to remove. But we're gonna go in a different direction with this palette. So when I first opened it, this was the shade that really stood out to me, this like beautiful like blue silver kind of color. So that's the direction we're gonna go in now. We're gonna completely change it and we're gonna try more shades. Okay, this time I've got a nice fluffy brush. This is one of my tried and true brushes, and I'm gonna start off by taking this lovely lilac shade. To be honest, I'm not really sure what colours go with this like silver, but we'll see. Honestly, that purple shade is like gone on quite nicely, and now I'm wondering if possibly the problem before was the concealer base, or it could be that the different colours have different formulas. But purple is like a notoriously difficult shade to make, and this one is actually pretty nice. Next, I'm gonna go into this deep purple shade right here and just try and deepen this up some more. This one's more sort of like a pinkish toned purple, whereas the other one was definitely more blue toned. That one as well has like pretty nice pigment. I'm gonna go back in with that first brush and that first purple shade, and I'm just gonna take one of the creams in the palette, just like a pale cream, and just, there's like 2 or 3, so. Now I'm gonna swatch a couple shades because I'm very interested in some of these. So this is the shade that I know I want to use. This like beautiful, look at that. And this is a glitter as well, so pretty. And then there's also like this like iridescent kind of like pink tone. Kind of looks a little bit chunky, but that looks pretty. It looks very chunky though. There's also a purple. Again, this one feels quite hard panned, like it's hard to get anything out. But there's a purple. And I'm gonna swatch it. Okay, so far the bluish silver one is definitely the best. Like I mentioned, their glitter formulas do tend to be a bit better than the others. But I am going to start off, I think, using that pink opalescence, and then we can layer the glitter over it just so I want to see what it looks like. And we can also make it wet just to see how that goes. But I'm just going to try and pick it up firstly with my brush, and it's just kind of like moving it around, like you can see it right there. It's very chunky, like very chunky. I'm gonna spray it. I'm gonna have to give it a few spritz. Oh my god, it's so chunky. Ew. No, okay, I really don't like that. Like, the colour's really pretty, but like, let me show you the texture of this. Like, you can see it here. Like, when I'm dipping my brush in, it's just moving. It's a really pretty shade though. Right, I'm gonna use my finger. Let's see. Ooh. So like the colour is really, really pretty, but it is just chunk city. It doesn't look good. So that's really unfortunate. Like, look at the flakes going down my face. Oh my god. Oh my god. And it's catching. Yeah, this is not good. Let me on the other side actually. There's like a kind of different formula, almost like a smoother looking formula. I'm going to try this as well on the other eye, because like, I want to cover it anyway. Like, that's a more sort of like traditional sparkle. Although that does not have a lot of pigment to it. Okay. So yeah, the shimmers are bad. Let me just put this glitter on because I'm just like, I'm so excited for it. It needs to be good. The glitter needs to be good. I'm going to use my finger. We're going to look at it again and just be reminded of how beautiful it is. And we're going to put it on. Like, it is pretty, but it's just not what... It's just not the best. Honestly, I think it's this, the pink shade on here. It's like super goopy. It's like making my eye feel really like sick and heavy. So I don't think that's helping. Because like, I think it's making it, the glitter all weird. Yeah, it definitely is making the glitter all weird. But over this side, like the full pigmentness of the glitter is genuinely insane. But yeah, this eye look just hasn't really gone how I wanted it to. It's fine. Oh well. Okay, so this eyeshadow palette, even though it looks really pretty, it's like worse than Profusion's usual formula, so I definitely wouldn't recommend it. It's only £6. So like, I think with Profusion, if you get like the really neutral shades for like beginners, then it's fine, because you don't really even necessarily want or need them to be super pigmented, because it's just like a nice neutral wash of whatever. Whereas when you're trying to do colours and you want them to be a bit more full pigment, because obviously that's why you're using a colour, then Profusion is not the people to go to. Although I will say that their glitter formula is one of the better ones out there. So if you see a profusion glitter that you like, they do like little £5 palettes of just glitter, and I would definitely suggest getting those over getting like the big pan palettes, because honestly the mattes just aren't super good. But at least we're sparkly. Sparkly's fun. Okay, so for foundation, I didn't get a primer. I don't even know if they had a primer. I don't think I saw one. But for foundation, that is not what that is. This is it. This is the foundation. So it's the Studio London Flaunt Flawless Perfecting Foundation. It's got SPF 20. It's meant to have a 12-hour wear. And I got this one in the shade 20. Again, I think this was like the lightest one, or one of the lightest ones. And again, it has kind of like interesting packaging. Like I feel like we don't normally see packaging like this. I'm not really sure. Aha, it's just like a little squeezy tube dropper kind of stitch. So, oh my god, I have so much glitter all over me. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I give this a nice good shake, because I get the feeling that it's going to be liquidy, even though it doesn't really sound it. It sounds kind of thick in there, but we'll see. Okay, and I'm just going to squirt it on my cheeks. So that looks quite dark to me. Does that not look quite dark to you? Let me get a brush. I don't think I've ever used this brush for foundation, but I feel like it could be like good. So yeah, see, that colour is definitely not right, but it looks like it's got some radiance to it. It also looks like it's got some coverage to it. It smells like sun cream. But to be fair, like I mentioned in my last video, I am going to Tenerife soon. So if this has SPF 20 in it, if this looks good, this could be something good to take with me. But it really smells like sun cream. I quite like this brush as well for blending it out. This is just like a brush from like a Shein set, and honestly I love Shein brushes. I wish that it was cheaper to get it delivered to the UK, because I definitely would order from Shein more if it was. But this actually looks pretty good, to be honest. Like the shade, I feel like just isn't right. Like the shade just looks wrong to me. Like I feel like I'm more sort of like yellow toned, whereas this is more sort of like pink. I feel like that happens quite often. I'm gonna zoom you in. So this is how my face is looking. It's looking good, actually. It is pretty radiant, but no, it is quite radiant. I don't think it says that on here anywhere, but it does sort of feel like it's just kind of morphed into my skin really well. Like it doesn't really look too much like makeup. Obviously it looks a little bit like makeup because it is makeup, and my skin isn't like this glowy, but I do feel like it's evened everything out pretty well. I do have rosacea. Obviously I've accidentally covered it a little bit on this side, but that actually looks pretty good. It's definitely kind of a light to medium coverage, and like maybe it can be built. But also, as I always like to mention, I hate these like squeezy things, because like I never know how much I'm squeezing out, so I never know how much like to use. There goes a wild Cameron. Hello. Yeah, to be honest, that's like my main gripe with this, is that the SPF smell is a bit off-putting. Also, it's making my face feel kind of warm. I don't know if there's going to be a product throughout all of these that I'm like allergic to, like an ingredient, but it is making me feel a little bit, quite a bit warm. But I'm going to try to build it a little bit. Okay, when I've just built that there, that texture has gone really not very nice. Let me zoom you in. So can you see here where it's sort of like taken away product, where I've tried to build it? That doesn't look super good. Yeah, this texture, it looked okay with one application, but I would say don't try to build it because the texture is just not looking good. I am going to go in now and use my sponge. I mean, it looks okay, but I just turned one of the lights off because I want you to actually be able to see this a bit better. Like all of this texture. And that, by the way, was £9. So although this is an affordable brand, £9 is not really like the cheapest. I feel like you can get cheaper and better. I literally just had to sit here and like flick through the recording because my camera had stopped recording at some point and I needed to figure out when, and it was literally just before I saw that it stopped recording, so I like flicked through like 20 minutes of footage for no reason. Let's do concealer. So we found out on my eyes that this is quite sticky, so I think I'm going to do one side at a time, and I have a few blemishes because I've been picking my face today. Sue me. This kind of doesn't smell nice either. It kind of smells like Play-Doh. I'm just going to use my sponge to blend it out because that's what I normally do. You can see it's like sort of like stuck in that one place. Can you see? It's like stuck and not blending out. It was only there for like a second. So this is going to be one of those where you have to like very vigorously blend it out, otherwise it's just going to sit there. Even though I really didn't do that much, like I've done one side at a time, but it's just... Are you joking? Oh my, you have to put in like proper elbow grease for this. This is the hardest to blend concealer I think I've ever used in my life. Like you proper have to like scrub at your face, and like especially for someone that has rosacea, the last thing I want to be doing is like vigorously scrubbing at my face, because all that normally does is like flare up my skin. Like it makes my skin unhappy. So yeah, I mean, it really doesn't look super good. I feel like it's actually quite matte and like kind of like dry and like flat looking. Like I guess it looks pretty covered, although I feel like you can still see my darkness. It kind of just looks and feels a bit like I have a layer of paint on my under eyes, which I don't love. Yeah, I kind of don't want to even do the other side because it was so annoying to blend out. And also we do have a new powder to test, so what I might actually do, just because I really don't want to use this powder again, this concealer again, is I think I'm going to use my normal concealer combo on this side, and then we'll set both sides with the powder, and then we can see if the powder is actually any good or if it's just the concealer that's messing us up or what have you. So I think that's a bit fairer, and also it's just a little bit easier for me because I don't like this. So my concealer combo that I've been using at the minute is the Rimmel Kind and Free. I know, I feel like I said in that video that I wouldn't use this again, but I've been using it mixed with my Catrice True Skin. So I like to use a little bit of this, mainly on like the inner part of my eye. This is just really nice and radiant and hydrating, and when it's by itself it's like a bit too much, but when you mix it with something like the Catrice, which this says it's like a hydrating concealer, but to me it's quite like drying. So when I mix these two together, it just works out really well. Like the shade is really nice, the coverage is really nice, the hydration level is nice, like everything is just sort of good. So let me just blend this out quickly. For me personally, I just feel like this side looks better. I mean, you can tell me your opinion in the comments, but I think this side, this concealer combo, and I'm not suggesting that you have to buy two concealers, but personally I just think this side looks better. We do not have anything for bronzer, cream or powder, but we do have a cream blush, which is very interesting, and we do have a liquid highlight. So we're going to do the cream blush first. I feel like someone's opened this and swatched it. I'm not even joking. I haven't opened this yet, but I've just looked at this and it's like peeled off.
That's gross.
Yeah. Oh, they have, look, you can see like the swipe marks in it. I haven't touched this yet. Why do people do this? Great.
Did you accidentally grab a tester, maybe?
It's not a tester, because they literally put this bit of sticky tape back on it. Whoa. So they like peeled it off. That's gross. This is in the shade Inner Glow, by the way. It's like a really pretty pinkish peach. We're gonna put this on our face. I'm just gonna take my brush to it. It feels like very much like a balm, sort of like dry formula. This as well feels like quite sticky. Everything in their line seems to be a bit sticky, but the colour looks pretty actually, to be honest. This is a very matte blush, I can tell you that for free. It's going on like super smooth, but there's like no radiance to it, even though it's called Inner Glow. It looks pretty though. But anyway, let's move on to the Studio London You Do You highlighter drops. This is in the shade Radiant Glow. I feel like they only had one of these. Maybe they had two, I don't know. Oh, it looks like opal. That looks pretty actually. And I'm just gonna use my finger, I suppose. It looks like, holy shit. I'm kind of scared. It looks pretty though. Ooh, I might actually like this. That looks pretty. I'm going to use the bum of my sponge because honestly I can't deal with blending stuff out with my finger, but it looks pretty. It's like very metallic, but it's like pink. That is intense. So I actually quite like this a lot. I think it looks really pretty. I think the shade is like so interesting for a highlighter. Like I wouldn't have bought one like that, but I actually really like it. The formula feels very nice as well. Obviously I'm going to set it down with powder, so we'll see how that goes, but so far I actually really like that. That's probably my favorite product so far. Now we're moving on to the powder. This is one of the last things we have to try from this line. I didn't actually get anything for the lips because they only really have like liquid lipsticks, which I just know that I'm not going to use. But we do have this. Again, it's kind of interesting packaging. But this is the Studio London Flaunt Flawless Setting Powder. It's meant to be weightless and mattifying. It's in the shade Translucent, and it says perfect and set your look with a Studio London Flaunt Flawless Setting Powder. Blah, blah, blah. It creates a flawless veil to set and mattify your makeup. So this one is sealed. No one's got their grubby little mitts on it. It's really hard to get out, but yeah, that's what it looked like. It's just kind of a powder. So I'm going to do my usual powder setting routine that I do, which is take my small brush and dip into the powder, swirl it around, and straight away this concealer over here feels very like sticky, like it's like sticking onto the powder. Let's try this side. We have some texture issues straight away, so I'm having like weird texture on this side, no idea why. On my nose you can see all those little bumps. It's like looking really textured here as well. It's just not looking very good. Yeah, I don't like this. I think it's the SPF in the foundation that's making it sort of like go weird, but I'm not a fan. So I'm just going to give my camera a minute to cool down. So I'm going to go off, I'm going to do some bronzer, I'm going to probably touch up on the blush and highlighter, honestly, because you can't really see them at all anymore. And yeah, do some other little bits, and then I'll come back and finish off the video. So see you in a sec. Okay, so some progress has been made and the hair is now done. So I just did a little bit of bronzer, and for that, let me find it. For that, I just used this Lacura Dream Big. I hadn't used this in ages, and to be honest, I think it looks pretty good. I did top up on the blush. I used the Essence, the blush in the shade Breezy, and then I did also top up my highlight, and for that I used this Sunkissed Moonlit Glow, and I think it looks really pretty actually. I also quickly filled in my eyebrows with the Rimmel Kind and Free eyebrow pencil in, I think it's something dark brown or chocolate or something. It's in chocolate. I did some faux freckles because like I haven't done it in ages. I know in my last makeup video I actually did faux freckles as well, but I filmed that like 3 weeks or so ago, so it's been a while for me since I've done them. And yeah, I just felt like doing it. I feel like whenever my base isn't looking that good, I feel like I like to do some faux freckles to make it look cuter. What else did I do? Oh, I added some gloss. This is actually a gloss from W7 that I actually really like. This is what it looks like. So you think that it's going to be like super intense, but it just looks so pretty. So this is the Glamorous Gloss in the shade Paparazzi Pink, and I think it looks really nice. So we're back. We're going to finish up the eyes, and then yeah, we'll be done. We're going to do a wear test, but we also have this eyeliner to try, which this isn't going to go with this look now because I was planning originally a green look, but let's just try it and see what it's like. I like how all of this stuff has like the cute pink packaging though. But this is what it looks like. So it is just a normal pencil. I typically prefer the retractable gel liners, but a pencil is fine. That's what it looks like. It looks nice. It's not the creamiest, but we'll try it. Let's zoom in and let's just try it on the waterline. Oh, it's hard. Oh, I don't think I can. It's too sharp. Like, it's too like sharp. It's making my eyes water. No, I actually can't. I'm sorry. I actually can't do it. Oh, it's like proper making my eye water. It's just like, it's such a like hard pencil. Like, it's not really like creamy. You have to put quite a lot of pressure in. Like, maybe I'll warm it up a little bit and then we'll go. Okay, it's a little bit better after I warmed it up on my hand, but it's still really making my eyes water. And I use liners all the time in my waterline, and my eyes never really water like this when I'm doing it because I normally use gel pencils and they're a lot creamier and softer. I will say though that the colour is really pretty, and it is like a lot better once you've warmed it up, and it is like pretty full pigment as well. No, that's actually pretty. I actually really like the colour. It's just a shame that it is so sort of like hard to start off with. So like if you are going to use that, definitely make sure that you warm that up. Otherwise, it's not going to be happy with your eyes. But now we have a different colour in the mix. Let's figure out what we're doing. I guess I'm going to go back into this warm brown shade. We used this earlier in the first sort of like failed look, but I'm going to use that I guess to blend out under here because it kind of matches. Honestly, this was not like the vibe that I would have gone for if we weren't trying that out, that liner, but I actually kind of really like it. Like the colour of that liner is actually stunning. I really wish it was like a little bit creamier, because if it was, I would be using that like all the time, like not even a joke. But anyway, eyes are done, and all things considered, they actually haven't turned out as bad as I thought they would. Also, joke, I forgot to do the inner corner, so one sec. Also, if you can hear snoring, like, that's Poppy, that's the little dog that is making that noise. Yeah, I do think I'm gonna pop into this shade right here. It's not really gonna do anything. I'm gonna wet my brush, I think, just because otherwise I'm gonna be here all day trying to build this up. So this palette is kind of, yeah, it's not really a good one by Profusion. Profusion by no means do like my most favorite palettes. Like, although the one from either last year or the year before has become pretty much my like everyday palette, it's not necessarily for all of the right reasons. Like, it is more because the shades are so blendable that there's never really like a harsh line, so you can just put it on as quickly and as sloppily as you want, and you don't really have to worry about the fact that it's going to be unblended, because with these shadows they can't really be unblended because they're just so like powdery. So yeah, they definitely don't make like my most favorite palettes, but I will say that the quality is really not here on this one, and I would definitely not recommend purchasing it. Even though it's only £6, like, I don't think it's worth it. And if I got this as a Christmas present, I honestly think I'd be really upset. So yeah, I'm gonna do some mascara, and I'm actually gonna do this Rimmel Kind and Free one again. I actually haven't used it since that video, and like I mentioned, that's been about 3 weeks now. So I'm just gonna pop a little bit of this on. I'm gonna have to get the door. Okay, so I won't lie, we took a little bit of a break to have some food. So it's probably been about an hour, just over. So I did finish putting on the mascara. I used the Rimmel Kind and Free like I said I would. I just reapplied a little bit of that gloss that I showed you earlier, but things are happening on the skin that I want to show you already, even before we start the wear test. Like, what is this? What is this like weird like cracking that is happening under my eye? So this is obviously the concealer side from Studio London. This is my normal combo, and honestly the normal side is looking like a bit better, whereas this one, I don't know what is going on under there. Yeah, there's just like a lot of textural problems. Like, it's sort of like faded a bit here. My nose has some pretty bad texture. It's really not looking so good so far, but we're at the very early point of the wear test. But oh well, I'll see you all at the end of the day. Future Katie here. I haven't done the longest wear test today. I've only had this makeup on for about 5 hours, but I am so tired. I really need to go to bed. So we're gonna check in and see how it's doing. But yeah, bear in mind it's only been about 5 hours. Yeah, it's not looking good. So you can see in sort of like my laugh lines, they're sort of like very exaggerated. The texture like on my cheek looks really bad. In these like little creases here that like makeup is stuck in, that never happens. Yeah. Okay, so oh my god, what happened there? So it's pretty much as I thought it would be, which is that it really hasn't worn very well at all. So in terms of what I would not recommend from this line, because I think that's a bit easier, I would not recommend the foundation, the concealer, the eyeshadow pigment, and I'm not sure about the powder yet. I mean, I did try it with my own concealer, and I guess maybe it looks a little bit better, but still I can't really tell, because I do think that the foundation maybe sort of like played a part in it. But things that I actually did like was I did like the liquid highlight, although I felt like it did kind of go after I set my face. But I mean, that is to be expected, but I feel like with a lot of other liquid highlights it's okay. The cream blush was nice, and also I would say that the eyeliner is nice once you've warmed it up. As well, the eyeshadow palette is kind of a bust. So yeah, it's definitely not the best wear test, especially considering I've only had this on for like 5 hours. It looks atrocious, especially like considering the fact that I know how makeup wears on my face typically, and I've never had these sorts of problems. So yeah, I would not recommend this makeup or this makeup line. It is affordable, but I just don't think it's good, and I think there are a lot of other places where you should spend your money. Like if you only want to spend £5, get like the Technic Demi Matte foundation instead. Or if you only want to spend a certain amount of pounds on like an eyeshadow palette like Body Collection do some good ones. Yeah, I just would not recommend this. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.